What up? Man, my hair looks crazy. Was at the creek with the kids, and let's mute that. And just haven't showered, so I figured I'd do a quick live stream. Be fun to do this once a week. Let me know if you like the idea of doing this once a week at some point. Yeah, so hope everyone is doing well. I'm looking at the comments, I can see them here. And morning, hey, Michael, good morning. Yeah, it's true. Good morning. Good to see you again. Where's everyone coming from? I'll start here in just a second. Cool. Glad you like the idea of weekly, Josh. Kia ora. Where's that? Teslatino, what's up? New Zealand, Colorado, hey. West Virginia, Montreal. What's up, Alex? Chicago. Irvine. I am drinking a Manhattan today without the cherry. I have them, I just wasn't feeling it. South Florida, Dallas, Redmond, GA. Cool. So let's jump in. I'd love to chat, and then maybe once I get through my three topics here, I can answer some questions or take some feedback or whatever. So Tesla profit, I think it's happening. I think based on what I saw ground level here in the Denver area, based on what I heard privately from some people, I won't say who because I don't want to give them away or get them in trouble. And yeah, based on some conversations that I had privately, I'm pretty confident. that they made a profit. In fact, I'm so confident that I'm moving some money into Tesla stock. So take that for what it's worth. You know, as they say, it's not financial advice. Do your own research, make your own decisions. But I'm pretty confident that they made a profit. Pretty confident. So confident enough to move some money into the stock, even as high as it is. I think if they announce a profit, I think the stock will pop again. And then who knows what the S&P thing will do. I'd be curious to look at some historical data on companies that got accepted into the S&P. I saw some bears say that it's not a surefire thing. You have to get accepted, and it could take a while. But I think it's one of those things where the S&P will probably want the company. So I think it's interesting. It was remarkable to see how many vehicles they were moving. I really would love to just implore people, new owners and those that are long-standing in the community, to make sure that Tesla's delivering good quality, well-built vehicles. Keep them accountable and make sure that they're meeting the standard and the expectation that comes with a $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 vehicle or higher. I think it's important for us to tactfully push back when it doesn't meet your expectation. And I'm just having a lot of conversations with some owners, some new owners, and having these conversations about build quality and knowing when to push back. And I want to encourage anyone who's in the community or new to the community to hold Tesla accountable for producing high quality cars. So yeah, I think Tesla did make a profit. Anyways, so those are my couple of items on the Tesla and new delivery side. I know here in Colorado they delivered a ton of Model Ys. Remarkable. I mean, the amount of Model Ys that were on the lot at the location that I visited in Superior, Colorado. It was amazing. It was amazing how many Model Ys there were. And to be honest, the Model Y is it's better fitting for this type of terrain. So I'm not surprised. I think that it's usually around 3 to 4 weeks after the quarter's over that they have their call, their quarterly call. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. I'd pay attention. I'd pay attention to the indicators. They delivered a lot of cars in a short amount of time. I think that this is public information, so I can share this. Employees took pay cuts and delayed bonuses, and I think yeah, what can I say? I think there's a good chance that they're going to be profitable. I could be wrong, just prefacing that, but I think they're in a good position. They're in the best position possible. So, China's Cybertruck. Did that just come out of the blue? I was not expecting that. That was an article from Electric. I don't know if it was sourced from somewhere else, but I don't know if you guys saw that. But yeah, apparently they're taking reservations for the Cybertruck in China, which is crazy. Yeah, check out Electric. They posted this, I don't know, this afternoon maybe. Yeah, this afternoon. So that's kind of wild. Will the truck be popular in China? Obviously, well, not obviously, but Tesla must have been doing some intelligence gathering and have an inkling of an idea that the truck would be popular or will be popular in China. I think it's going to be a popular vehicle in Australia too. I don't know if there's anyone in Australia on the live stream. Feel free to add in your 2 cents. I think trucks are popular. Is it going to be too big of a truck? That's the question. For China or for any other markets. I think in North America it works just fine. The F-Series is quite popular. Pretty much all trucks are popular. How many pre-orders of the Cybertruck would you guess? I'm guessing that's what you're asking. I have no clue. I mean, it's a wild design. Oh, by the way, I don't know if most of you probably follow me on Twitter, but I did put an order in for a Cybertruck. I'll tell you the story behind that too. It's interesting. So I was at the event in November, and I was sort of speechless in a bad and surprising way. I was not expecting it to look that crazy. I was not feeling it, was not vibing it at all. Yeah, so F-150s is about as big as the roads here in New Zealand can take. Okay, F-250 is too big. So, so I had my Model S in for some detail work at a local body shop. And while it was being worked on, the owner gave me his Toyota Tundra to drive around for a day. And my kids, they loved it. They loved the truck. They loved getting in it. In fact, even after I dropped off the truck and picked up my car, the kids were asking about the truck. They didn't want to ride in the Model S anymore. They liked sitting up high. And to be quite honest, sitting up high on the highway is really nice in comparison to riding as low as the Model S. So I'll tell you, I'm not sure what year the Tundra was. Probably not the newest body style, but maybe the second most recent. But it's nice to sit up that high. You can see over a lot of cars. Of course, there's a lot of trucks on the road as well. But I don't know, the fact that my kids loved it, and the design of the Cybertruck it's grown on me as well. I will admit that it has grown on me, and I figured it would. I really did figure that it's just, I don't know, it's just so far out there. a lot like the AirPods. I kind of despise them. I thought they looked silly in people's ears, but I don't know if I have them around, but I think they're in the kitchen. But I have them and I use them every day now, and they just become a natural part of my process. Hello from Australia. Do you think Tesla will include more options to the premium connectivity like cloud backup? Yeah, I do think, Jennifer, I do think that Tesla's got a really huge opportunity to grow the recurring revenue through software. I came from a software background, software sales, and I see the writing on the wall. I mean, eventually, I think that they'll open up they'll open up an app store and allow third-party developers to develop apps for the vehicle. Tesla's developing their own apps already that we benefit from. But cloud storage, video cloud storage for Sentry Mode, I think is a really brilliant idea to generate some additional revenue. Thoughts on robotaxi? I'm not your most optimistic advocate of autopilot in full self-driving. I think they've got a ways to go. I think it will accelerate quickly. The data that they've gotten, the data that they're ingesting into their system, I think it's going to happen very, very quickly, but I don't think it's going to happen by the end of the year. I think they've got a little bit more ways to go. So to answer your question about robotaxi, I don't think it's going to happen this year. A couple of years from now, maybe. Things just aren't moving as quickly. Maybe this new version of full self-driving or autopilot or whatever they're calling it, maybe this new rewritten version is just going to be remarkably better. But as of right now, what was I driving? I drove a couple of brand new Model S's in the last month and a half. Brand new, like less than 300 miles on the car. So it had the most up-to-date version. And I think there are ways to go. I think they still got a ways to go. There's too many interventions for me. It works good on straightaways, works good on highways, long distances, but it gets a little crazy. It gets a little just sketchy sometimes. It's gotten tons better. I mean, if I look back to like 3 years ago, they've made a lot of progress. So I commend the team there, but I personally have a hard time believing that this will be full self-driving or have the ability to sort of drive on its own under human supervision by the end of the year. Let me get to these other. Okay, so I see my name being mentioned here. Ride-sharing app, yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that's easy for them to do right now. Where human is actually driving. I think it's actually a very natural step for them to build robotaxi. How many years have you been following Tesla? Since 2011. In fact, the thing that turned me on to Tesla was the documentary Who Killed the Electric Car. Really interesting one, and part of the storyline is Tesla's early days when they're trying to get the first generation Roadster out the door and all of their troubles with that. So Model Y standard range in Q4, I could see that. I could see that happening. Yeah, for sure. Nikola shenanigans, I want to cover that. I see a good question here from Raj. When is Giga Texas video dropping? When am I doing a video? I don't know. I thought about doing an update on all the stuff that I've been following along, but maybe it makes more sense to wait until it's actually formalized. If it is, still not guaranteed, still in negotiations. Texas and Travis County probably need to pony up a little bit more for incentives. Do you really think Trevor will debate ARC? Yeah, I mean, it seems like the ARC is wanting to do something more private than public, but yeah. So Nikola shenanigans. I actually got a response from him on Twitter today. Was asking him. Maybe I can pull up the tweet. I asked him a bunch of questions about whether the Badger pickup truck was real, whether they had a prototype, or whether they're still working on it. Let me see if I can. Was it a reply, I think. See if I can pull this up. I'll read it verbatim. That way I get it right. if I can find it quickly here. Yeah, here it is. So I asked him, does a fully built Badger prototype exist to date, or are you currently working on this? What type of testing have you done in this vehicle? Thanks. And then I added, I've just not seen it disclosed yet in regards to the Badger in terms of the specs. Also, are they building a one-off prototype just to have an OEM produce it, or are they working with the OEM to build a prototype too? If there's no prototype, are the specs simulated? So they've talked about the specs for the vehicle. Here's my thought. Here's my 2 cents on this. So take it for whatever it's worth. If they actually had a prototype, I think that they would have showed it, and I think that they would have used real photos instead of graphics. And I think he would have answered my question differently. Oh, sorry, I should respond with what he said. He said, it'll be at Nikola World 2020 in full glory and working, driving, badass, metal stamped panels, working interior, more than other OEMs. Just because we don't give it away doesn't mean it's not real. You'll have to wait to see it. So I think if they had a prototype, his answer would be different than you'll have to wait until Nikola World. That's just my 2 cents. I mean, it's okay. It's okay if they're still building the prototype. I suppose I just have a slight problem with the lack of information about the vehicle and the fact that they're taking deposits for something. Now, I saw a comment on my Nikola video from earlier this week. Someone who was reminded me about Tesla's first-gen Roadster. They took deposits and they didn't have a prototype, which is fine, but it's not a good example to use because Tesla was significantly delayed and they ended up asking the reservation holders for more money to be able to finish the funding. And so it was a huge cluster for Tesla and a huge frustration point for reservation owners of the first-gen Roadster. So I think it's just a really terrible idea to start promoting this when, number one, you don't have a prototype. Number two, you're still working out the specs. You got to assume if they don't have a prototype, they're probably still working out the specs. I mean, maybe they've got a mule somewhere, and maybe they simulated the specs, but I don't know. There's something to be said about actual test driving. So yeah, Nikola shenanigans. I mean, I call them shenanigans to sort of catch people's attention, but I'm skeptical. I'm open to buying in. I'm open to believing what they're working on, but I see a ton of obstacles. I see a ton of obstacles not only for their vehicles, but also just for the hydrogen platform. This is something that I also commented on today on Twitter too. There's relatively no infrastructure in North America for hydrogen. The cost of hydrogen vehicles is more expensive than electric vehicles at this point. And the cost to refuel as well is quite expensive. I mean, they've got a few obstacles. Plus, the one thing that electric vehicles have over hydrogen is that electric vehicles can take advantage of an electrical grid that has been built over the last 100 years or so. Hydrogen, not so much, not the case. They're starting from scratch, literally. Not only building the infrastructure, but they've also got to build the facilities to produce the hydrogen and then transport it. So the safety of hydrogen, I'm sure that they've found a way to make it safe. I don't necessarily know how exposed the platform is to what happens in a wreck. Have these been crash tested? Have any government entities crash tested hydrogen vehicles? I'm sure they're fine. I don't know. Maybe you can't be so sure. I'm not sure at all, actually. So, yeah. Tesla did take pre-orders before the Model 3, but it was day of. So, big difference. And there were the engineering prototypes being driven around. People saw them. They were essentially the same thing that people are buying today in terms of what they look like. So a little bit different of a comparison there. And plus Tesla had a track record of producing the Model S and X. This Model 3 was not their first vehicle. So there was something for people to refer back to. A $3,000-$4,000 stock in 5 to 10 years, I can see that. I can see Tesla hitting 2,000 by the end of the year. But it's not my world. I don't spend my time on the financial side of things. Rob from Tesla Daily or Gally from Hyperchange are probably better people to ask about that. But when I make my investments into companies, they're usually in tech because I understand tech, and I usually follow the companies really closely. And so it's a lot of observing how people are reacting to the products. Are people buying them? Are you seeing a lot of enthusiasm for the products? Tesla, of course, if you own a Tesla, you understand. But, Spotify is another one that I've been paying close attention to. And the potential, the upside for Spotify, I think is significant. And it's a great product. It's far better. It's the best product on the market for consuming music and podcasts, in my opinion. So, how long are we going here? 21 minutes. Okay, so let's try and wrap up in like 4 minutes. So send me your questions here. Yeah, Shopify is cool too. What questions you got? Rapid fire. 3, 2, 1, go. Any idea of a service center in Fort Collins area? No, but there's one going in Colorado Springs. No superchargers. Northern Colorado is kind of void. You do have Loveland Supercharger. Google Podcasts is good for podcast. I don't have much experience with that. Battery day predictions. I did a video on it. I don't know, a week or two ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago. I don't know. Actually, the video that I did about Salion, that's another good one. You should watch that one if you haven't watched it already. Around 30% cost reduction to produce the batteries, and increase in energy density. I think the cost savings for the silicon is going to be really, really huge. S&P, yeah, probably. Seems to make sense. Above 300 watt hours per kilogram? Yeah, I think so. Thoughts on Square? I do like it. I don't know enough about it. I know I've used it before and use it, I guess, still currently. What do you think about Tesla split? I'm not sure about that one. Split the cost with customer-owned Teslas. I don't know. I think Tesla would want to control it. Mega charger locations, probably too early to say. Upgrade. I don't know. I seem to see a lot of people on Twitter saying that they bought full self-driving upgrade. I think that's a good sign. What big car manufacturers do you expect will go out of business? Fiat Chrysler. Follow Arcimoto? Yeah, I do follow Arcimoto. I interviewed the CEO about a month ago. Interesting vehicle. Nikola still bogus? I don't know. I think I've seen their semi trucks in person. I think they've got some chance, but again, it's the refueling infrastructure. I think it's going to be their biggest challenge. Model 3 base price in a year. I think they'll keep it the same, but add new features to it as costs fall. When do you think Cybertruck might start production? Well, they need a manufacturing facility. So 2022 depends on when they start that. Amazon fan? Yeah, I am an Amazon fan in that I like the convenience of it, for sure. I don't watch ARK Invest's YouTube channel. I know that they do some good stuff. I know a lot of people appreciate them. I probably should. Just time is limited. There's only a few people that I watch on YouTube these days. Before long trips, that stretch range thoughts. What do you mean by stretch range? Do you think Tesla will introduce $20,000 car? Will they do it this year? Might be too soon. I think they need to work some things out. I think they've got enough demand problems right now for batteries. Thoughts on Bitcoin? I don't know enough about it. Any good interviews coming up? Yeah, I've got. I need to work out the details for an interview with a company called Solid Power. They're based out of the same area that Salion is in. Um, $25,000 car in 2024, probably. At least an announcement. Okay. All right, one last question here. Model Y delivery window in China. I think they're going to be very interested in ramping that up soon. Next year, early next year, that'd be my guess. Can you and Gally do more podcasts together? Yeah, for sure. I was just texting with him tonight. Yeah, we can do another one. We haven't done one in a while, huh? How much do solar panels increase home value? It depends. There's quite a few variables there. It's a hard question to answer on a live stream. Depends on where you're at, what location of the world. Do you get a lot of sun? If you don't get a lot of sun, you're probably generating a lot of energy by hydro. So probably not very much value. If you're in a place that does get a lot of sun, most likely it does add value. I would be very careful with how you're paying for that. If you're financing or leasing it, it becomes a lot more problematic for the next buyer, especially if you still own money on it. If you pay cash or you intend on paying off the solar by the time you sell the house, most certainly adds some value. Tesla minivan, that's funny. It seems like Boring Company's working on something for mass transit, so we may see that before a Tesla minivan. But the Boring Company mass transit thing will certainly have Tesla components, battery, drivetrain, so on. So, all right, 26 minutes, almost 27 minutes. Thanks for spending a part of your Friday night chatting it up. Hope everyone is doing well. Looking forward to the next live stream. If this works good for everyone, I'll try and do this once a week. My goal is three videos a week. So if I can do 2 pre-produced and 1 live, I'd be very happy. Of course, that is very much depends on my schedule, my real estate schedule. So hope everyone is doing well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch everyone on the next video.